Support for this program is provided in part by Guido's Fresh Marketplace. Show, The Natural Cook. I'm Anna Gershenson. I went to the farmers market to meet our farmers who bring produce and whatever they grow to our farmers market in downtown Pittsfield. I met Chelsea from Uprising Farm in West Lebanon, New York, just across the border from Pittsfield. I will let you watch my interview with her so that she can tell us more about herself and what she brings to our market. We're very excited to introduce Chelsea from Uprising Farm. She's right from across the border in West Lebanon, New York. Chelsea.
Hi.
Hi. I love your produce and I love the eggs, looking at the eggs that you are, and they are different colors. So before we start with what you are carrying here, I wanted to know why you have decided to be a farmer.
I actually have always been pretty creative and into visual art. That's actually what I went to college for. But something was always drawing me to getting dirty and being closer to nature. So just maybe 8 years after college, I just started a little garden and loved it and got a few chickens and then just decided that was what I needed to be doing with my life. So,
well, this is wonderful. This is really inspirational. I wanted to know if you can tell me what you are growing. You have very, very beautiful produce, and I wanted to know how you decide what you are going to grow in your garden.
I would say that the way we decide what we're going to grow is what we love to eat. Probably also what we are good at growing too. So a combination of those two things.
And I see that your sign says organic, local and sustainable. I understand that becoming organically certified is a very lengthy process, and I understand that not everybody goes through it. So, but you do use organic practices. Can you tell us more about what it means?
Okay. Well, yep. All of our produce is organically grown. We basically consider what we do better than certified organic because it's not to the big, standards. We're doing it on a small scale. We use no herbicides, no pesticides, no chemical fertilizers. We try to use, animals in combination with the gardens to keep them fertile. And also a combination of that, and then cover crops too.
And I see that you have eggs that are blue color. You don't see those in the supermarket, and I wanted to know why they are blue. I know people have misconception in general looking at the color of the eggs. They think that maybe brown eggs are better than white eggs. Yeah. Can you tell us more about your chickens and how they live their lives and what is special about your eggs?
Sure, yep. So we have a diverse flock. So we have all different types of chickens. So the blue eggs are from Americanas. And then we have Australorps, we have white leghorns, brown leghorns, barred rock. I could go on and on. And all of our birds, our ducks and geese included, are all raised on pasture. And we feed them local, organically grown grain that we get from Stonehouse Farms in Hudson, New York. We're really proud of that, and we're really happy to have a local source of organically grown grain. They've transitioned quite a few thousand acres into organic over the last 3 years in Columbia County.
And what makes your eggs, nutritionally speaking, better than the eggs that you would buy from a factory farmed chickens?
Nutritionally speaking, they are higher in omega-3s. The chickens have a more diverse diet because they can eat grass or bugs or whatever their body is telling them that they need. And they also just taste better. They're just delicious, and they have a really bright orange yolk.
So they're really happy chickens.
They're really happy chickens.
Thank you, Chelsea.
You're welcome. Thank
I love eating eggs from our farmers market. They are so delicious. We will talk about them more later. However, I want to introduce you to the concept that is so in vogue now, eating from a bowl. Eating from a bowl is great because you can build layers, you can include all kinds of different ingredients, throw in your leftovers. Today we'll be having a rustic bowl and a Mexican bowl, and because rustic bowl takes buckwheat to cook, so we will start with that, and I will tell you more about what I'm putting into this bowl. So buckwheat is, it doesn't have gluten, so I on purpose included it into my recipe today, and also cooks very quickly, just like quinoa. So I buy buckwheat and I check whether it is, it has any impurities. I get rid of them, and then I put it on a skillet, kind of medium-high heat, and I start swirling it and warming it up and roasting it a little bit, even though it's already roasted, but I want it kind of to come to higher temperature. Then I like adding hot boiling water to it, so my water is already done, ready for me, and that speeds up the process. And then I would season the water with salt. I will add maybe about a teaspoon of salt and mix it, and then I taste. And the water has to be really, really highly seasoned because all the grains will absorb that salt, and then if you haven't added enough salt, then it just will be very plain and not seasoned properly. So I'm adding my water to 1 cup of buckwheat. I'm adding 2 cups of water, and I'm decreasing the heat. I'm putting the heat on lowest heat. It can really cook, should be cooking very slowly. I'm covering it with a lid. You can also even cover it with some maybe towels around to keep the steam in. You set your temperature for 20 degrees, and your buckwheat is cooking, and you can proceed with the next task, which is kale. I decided to include kale. Kale would go nicely with buckwheat. Buckwheat is very earthy, and kale also has this kind of earthiness to it, and it's nice to throw into a bowl something that is, like grain, protein, vegetables. They can be raw vegetables. They could be roasted vegetables or anything you have in your refrigerator. Like today, of course, I don't have leftovers, so I am preparing it from the beginning, from scratch. But you can just see what you have there and throw it together, and that's the beauty of it, that you don't really have to spend much time. So I used lacinato kale. You can use also different kind of kale, like Siberian kale or Russian kale, which is softer. Like this kale is pretty hardy, and so it will. I'm not cooking it, although you can. As you saw how I shaved the leaves off of the stem, and now I will just slice it thinly. You can do it as thinly as you want, like in thin shreds or a little thicker. And what I will do, I will salt it, and I will massage salt into the kale so that salt would start breaking down the fibers and kind of cooking it. It should sit for at least 15 minutes. It can sit longer, and you can make it also in advance if you want to and have it sitting in the refrigerator. However, as I said, this kale is pretty hardy, so you might need more time for it. Right now, we're just putting into a bowl. I'm sprinkling it with a little bit of salt, and make sure that it's not too salty, and kind of massaging the salt into the leaves, and they will soften as they sit. So we'll put them aside, and then we will proceed with the rest. So what else will I put there into this bowl? This is where I would like to put the egg. And getting back to the topic of our eggs, you know, eggs are very convenient food because they are not expensive. Of course, you have to pay more if you go to the farmer's market to buy the eggs, but it's totally worth it. It's a complete protein. It has B vitamins. It has also iodine and selenium, and it's really very easy source of protein and good for you. I know that lately we have noticed that on packages they promote that eggs are made with omega-3s. However, if you go to farmer's market and buy eggs where chickens are roaming and they are eating foods that have already omega-3s in them, like the greens, it's better than having processed oils added to them. So the egg will be cooked today. So I will be frying the egg, and we'll start it a little later. In the meantime, I want to tell you that eggs could be cooked different ways. You could cook egg, you know, boil it and have a molten middle, or you can have it hard-boiled, or you can have it fried. Today we'll fry it kind of like with a crispy egg white forming around, because it will add to the appeal of this dish. It will have this crunchy texture. However, if you want it to be really soft, what you can do is when you are putting it to cook, you can just sprinkle a little bit of water and you will cover it, and it will not form this crust and cook more slowly. You can also poach your eggs, and that's also very convenient because you can do it in advance. And we won't go into how I poach eggs today. However, this is really a very convenient way to prepare eggs. So our buckwheat is cooking, and we will now dress our kale that has been sitting here for some time. And as you see that it's kind of deepened in color. It's not really losing much of its nutrients. We're using it raw, although, as I said before, you can either saute it or steam it. And now I will dress it with, we already have salt, so I'll add some pepper, lemon juice, and olive oil, and it will be ready to go when our buckwheat is ready. This dish is going to be hot. It's going to be very satisfying. So let me drizzle some olive oil and some lemon juice, and then of course I will taste it. So this, the buckwheat being like very kind of rustic and with a like very satisfying feel to it, we will want also to add something that is crunchy and something that is you know, rich, which will be some feta cheese. So I'll taste it now. It actually tastes wonderful. It has this brightness of lemon juice that will counteract the buckwheat very beautifully. So I will put this aside. And in the meantime, I will start cooking my egg. We will set the time for our buckwheat is still cooking, so we'll have to wait on that. And we will cook my egg. Let's set it for medium. We will start pouring our olive oil into a pan that has been heated a little bit. You don't want to make it too hot because you don't want to burn your eggs, but it should start cooking right away. So let's crack the eggs and put it into a pan. Okay, so this pan, as you can see, it could have been heated a little more, so I'll increase the heat. It will continue cooking. The good thing about the oil being not too hot is that you are not really burning it. creating carcinogens, so you don't want to really have it really hot. However, if it cooks and seizes right away, it's a good idea. This is a induction oven, so stove top, so it kind of takes a little time and know how to get going. So now that the eggs are there, I'll increase the heat and I will season them with salt, and I will cover them with a lid for about 3-4 minutes. So in the meantime, let's check our buckwheat. So our buckwheat looks like it's cooked. I will fluff it up with a fork and I will drizzle a little bit of olive oil. You can use coconut oil or you can use butter there. It will make it really nice, rich, and delicious. And with the eggs cooking and the buckwheat being ready, we will be able to assemble our bowl. So the idea of a bowl is that you really want to have all kinds of textures and different foods that complement each other. So you would use, if you're vegetarian, you would use a grain or beans for protein or an egg. Also, you can use noodles. If you are an omnivore, you can have roasted chicken breast, like leftover chicken breast, or some fish if you have it. You can see that my eggs are already beginning to crackle. So that's a good sign. I'm covering it again, making sure that it cooks properly. So the other component would be vegetables. They could be raw vegetables. They could be roasted vegetables. And then you want to have herbs for flavor. You want to have something crunchy. Like today, I will add pumpkin seeds. And you can take raw seeds and either put them onto your baking sheet into 350-degree oven and for about 5 minutes and watch it to make sure they don't burn. Or you can cook it on top of the stove by just shaking the pan and watching the pumpkin seeds starting kind of like to pop up and to change color, and also smell, of course, the roasted aroma. Okay, so I'm covering the lid because I want to make sure that this way our eggs are cooking really more evenly and they cook faster. And my eggs, by the way, they were also at room temperature, which also allows them to cook much faster. So another component that you want to add to the bowl is something that is saucy, like you could throw together vinaigrette or pesto, or just mix mayo with some mustard and lemon juice and spice it with some black pepper, and you can drizzle it on it. So this is the idea of having, you know, then take your bowl and dip into it, and you'll see how different colors and textures, how beautifully they look together, and I'm sure that you will want to make it at home. So as you can see, these eggs are cooking very fast. You can already see that this kind of crust is forming that is going to be delicious. And I can turn off the heat now and start assembling our bowl. So we are going to put first our buckwheat. Then we will put our kale into the bowl. On top of the buckwheat. See how beautiful it looks? You want the buckwheat still kind of show a little bit if you want beautiful presentation. Then you will put there, actually I would like to drizzle a little bit of feta cheese because it will melt into the hot buckwheat, and it will add nice salty flavor and its richness. Okay, then I will put the kale and top it with the egg. Okay, I will salt the egg. When I put it there, you can use this, you know, as many eggs as you want to eat. Like if it's one egg, you can just cook one egg. I cooked 3 of them together because the pan was big. Okay, now You will drizzle a little bit of balsamic to have a little bit of acidity and a little bit of color. Nice drizzle. Went a little bit over. Salt for seasoning, not too much. And then you want to sprinkle with some roasted pumpkin seeds and dill. And as you can see, this bowl looks really very appetizing. You can dig into it and enjoy. Okay, let's clean up a little bit and go to our next bowl, Mexican bowl. The convenience of the meal in a bowl is totally evident. First of all, on a plate, you don't have to be afraid eating from a bowl to spill things, to drop things out of the plate. Everything is contained, so it's really convenient even to give it to your child to eat from a bowl. Second of all, you can throw in all kinds of things and they all fit nicely together. The meal that I prepared now using buckwheat is a hot meal. You can eat it for dinner, you can also eat it for lunch. And I will show you today a different, like a salad bowl, where you can also combine vegetables and protein and some herbs and nuts or seeds. But first, I want to tell you a little bit about buckwheat while I'm working with my next bowl. Well, my next bowl is Mexican bowl. Let me quickly tell you that. I'm using Mexican flavors, so it will be flavored with salsa, with Cholula sauce. We will also add some scallions. I will use romaine. Romaine is really a very nice green. It's a lettuce that has a lot of texture. It also is rich in color, which means that there are many nutrients there. Of course, you should wash it in a bowl of cold water and spin it dry, and you can then store it in your refrigerator. And when you're ready to eat, you just take it out of your baggie where you might have it lined with some paper towels, and then you just throw it into your bowl. And the next thing that you would want to add to this is black beans. I used canned black beans. It's really much more convenient. Maybe it's not as tasty when you cook your own. When you cook your own, you have to soak them, and you have to take some time to cook them. And of course, you can use the liquid for soups, and it's a more delicious product, but nevertheless, this is more convenient. So when you open the can, you pour the liquid out. You can put it into a strainer, pour cold water over it, wash it off, and then put it into a bowl, and then sprinkle some salt, a little bit of pepper. You could add a little bit of cumin if you wanted to, because it really goes with the flavors of the beans, and also lime juice. So I will drizzle a little bit of lime juice to give them a little acidity, and then we'll use more lime juice in our salad bowl. So let's toss it together and let it sit a little bit while I am chopping other vegetables. The vegetables that will go there will be tomatoes. The season is already in. Tomatoes are beautiful. They are field gathered. You would just take them and chop them into bite-sized pieces. You can get rid of that little black stuff there, the core, and then just chop them up, and they will be ready to go into your salad bowl. So I will add them to the ones that I have prepared already. I also am using cucumbers because it's nice to add some crunch. I will use pepitas as well, pumpkin seeds. However, you want to make sure that there are all kinds of textures, and of course romaine also has very nice texture. Scallions would be the next thing that I would add. So I would slice them thinly and then add them to my salad bowl. Okay, and avocado, that gives a lot of richness. It gives you sustaining power in terms of sating you and making sure that you are not getting hungry very quickly. If you eat just your salad, then probably your hunger will return fairly quickly. However, with the delicious and very nutritious avocado with its rich oils, you will add fat, and fat makes food stay in your stomach, digest longer, but it's really a very good fat. So to take the seed out, I will twist it and then release it. And so what you want to do is just cut it into slices, and then you would scoop it out and put it into your bowl. So now that we have this ready, we will take our salad bowl, add beans. So we will kind of put things decoratively so that it looks pretty. Like we always say, that food that looks good also is asking to be eaten and lets your juices to start developing to digest this food. Then we will put our tomato, cucumber, and avocado. I'll just take a spoon and scoop it out close to the skin to get all the nutrients that are hiding close to the skin. The closer it is to the skin, the more nutrients there are. And then we'll just fan them out and put them into our bowl. Okay, so now this will look really pretty, just like that. Okay. Now the next thing that we'll do is use condiments. Condiments are an essential part of the salad bowl because this is what flavors your salad bowl. We used feta in the previous case, and balsamic vinegar, and some kale that was flavored with lemon juice. And here we will put salsa all over, so that when you are eating, you are kind of scooping things and making sure that all this delicious flavor seeps throughout the bowl. You will also sprinkle Cholula sauce and scallion, as well as toasted sesame seeds. You can also sprinkle broken tortilla chips. They will add nice crunch. Also, if you have some leftover corn, you can add that to your salad bowl. That will look very pretty as well. So your meal is ready. It smells delicious. It looks beautiful. Now, speaking about buckwheat, I just wanted to let you know that you can cook it in advance and store it in the refrigerator and warm it up in the skillet just with a little bit of hot water. And it's very nutritious. It's good for your skin. It's good for your hair. It's good for sustaining, like normalizing blood sugar in your, and have fiber. So thank you for watching my show today. I hope that you are inspired to make a bowl for yourself, for breakfast, for lunch, for dinner, using your leftovers. Support for this program is provided in part by Guido's Fresh Marketplace.